Oh, hey there. You're right. Hey is for horses, and Zibai is here. My horse Adeptus from Liyue. Zibai is here. Well, technically she has always been here. We just haven't seen her because Zibai is old. Like she's playing the old in old. Her and Nicole fighting for oldest unit in to that. Zibai is coming next week. I'm going to mispronounce her name upteenth times, so apologies to get this started. But today we're just talking about team comps, teams to play, team ideas, roster things about Zibai, so you can have an enjoyable time when she releases. Okay, first things first. We're not putting any other elements besides Hydro and Geo in Zibai's teams. Why? Well, because Zibai believes in segregation to make herself strong.
Oh, Black Jesus.
Hate to say it, but it's true. She's solid as a rock, but she is a thirsty girl. I get it. Segregation for strength in 2026. I wouldn't believe it if I heard it either. But her passive would beg to differ. So Zibai's passive, Layered Peaks Pierce the Clouds. Other Geo members increase Zibai's defense by 50% each. Hydro party members increase their elemental mastery by 15% each. So other units, regardless of how much they're buffing, it's just like, why are we adding them in there? And Ilua, her signature 4-star support Geo unit, is even worse. How this works, 1, 2, 3 Hydro or Geo units in the party buffs his Nightingale Song buff, which is part of his ultimate. Nightingale Song buff, 7, 14, 24% of his EM buffs Geo damage. If it is Lunar Crystallized damage, that increases by 48, 96, and 160 based on his elemental mastery. This is on top of his 63% Geo damage buff bonus and his 429% lunar charge damage bonus at level 11 of his ult. So yeah, you can say Ilua is enabling Zibai's bad segregation behavior. Anyway, get the idea of using anybody besides Hydro Geo. Leave those thoughts out the window. In the room next door, kick him to the curb. No, no, no. No, 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 no way. First thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go through the roster and I'm gonna rank these people in tiers. Tier lists for Zibai, how effective they are in her team compositions. Okay? Here are my F tier picks. Starting off, Noelle. Noelle's kit, the only boost she's giving is because she's Geo. Her kit doesn't boost Zibai's damage really in any way. Sadly, also in this F tier category is Farina. Farina, yes, she is boosting damage, but if you've been playing in Non-Cry, you do know that Farina doesn't boost lunar reaction damage, and because there's not really a healer, party healer for Geo teams, besides Shalonen, getting her full buff with the HP drain is going to be almost impossible for on the Zibai team. Other F tier supports are going to be Ito. I mean, I don't really feel like I need to explain this one. Navia. I mean, the Delulu sort of argument would be like, oh, but her ult will do more lunar crystallized sort of reactions. I mean, sure, but she's going to be far more useful doing other things on other teams. This is probably the top of the F tier. Seedream is Hydro. Seedream can heal, but Seedream doesn't add any sort of team buffs. Sorry, Seedream mains. Don't come for me. Our D tier is going to consist of Ayato. This is Burst Ult Ayato. Hydro application for Lunar Crystallize. Great. His buff from his ult. Zibai isn't doing most of her damage from normal attacks, so his buff isn't really sort of doing that many great things for her. It's not nothing, but it's not great. This is also the same sort of situation for Yunjin. The only thing about she's better than Ayato is because she increases attack speed. And Zibai is going to get through her whole rotation before, because how she works, she has to do like her 4 normals before she can do her her enhanced E skill attack, which is where most of her damage comes from. We have Coco. Love her to death. But the problem is she can heal, yes, on her E. But the thing is, if you're relying her on Hydro application as well, if an enemy gets away from her, you're kind of screwed for the Lunar Crystallized sort of reaction damage. Yes, Zibai can do it on her own, but you're going to want to do it more often. So yeah, this is the D tier. She could be in D tier, but she's so cute. I'm putting her in C tier. Kachina at C4 gives a 20% defense increase after she ults. So for that reason, Zibai directly scales on defense. So for that reason, she's getting C, and she's so cute to boot. So that's why she's in C tier. The other C tiers are going to be Shalonen.
No.
You'll understand more so once we break down team comps. In my opinion, yes, she shreds. If you have her at C2, yes, you can have her in a team with more than 2 Geo units, but then she's not healing, and Shalonen has great heals, so it's like, okay, you're taking out a great Geo support for Zibai in lieu of Shalonen, so it's like, why? And Shalonen can be doing things for other teams. So this is why I have her in C tier. You can do it. It's not bad, but it's not great. In C tier, I also have Chiori. Lunar Crystallized does count as a Geo construct, so it will, if you have her C1, it will summon another doll. So she's a great sort of off-field DPS for Zibai teams. She's not boosting Zibai in any sort of way, frame or fashion, but Chiori does a lot of off-field damage. So that's why. For this reason, similar, for the same reason we have Yelan. Yelan, she doesn't create a shield like Xingqiu, but she does a lot of damage. So, and Zibai does normal attacks, so you're getting a lot of like Lunar Crystallized reactions. That's great. Lots of damage if you need it. So this is why I'm putting her in C tier. Also, if you feel like you really need a healer, I would say Barbara, but you need another Hydro unit here. Barbara's gonna heal your team, heal Zibai, and she can heal while she's not on the field, so she's not doing a lot of Hydro application, so you're gonna want another Hydro unit, but Barbara's not a terrible choice if you feel like you need heals. I think the better sort of 4-star support is Dahlia. Dahlia increases attack speed, and he refreshes his shield if the active player does normal attacks. Zibai has to do her full attack string to do her enhanced E skill. So Dahlia's shield will be refreshing. The only downside here for Dahlia is it's easier for that to happen, his stacks, if he's in a freeze team. We're not freezing on Zibai's team, so that's the only downside. But Dahlia is a great option. C tier. B tier, I have Xingqiu. Xingqiu creates little shields. Xingqiu applies Hydro during normals, as I said with Yelan. She is doing normal attacks, so you're triggering that. And so great sort of help with sustain. Great application, does decent amount of damage. Not a bad unit for Zibai. More free to play friendly. More constellations, of course, can be better. I also have Zhongli in this tier. You could argue he could be an A tier. I'm putting him B tier because he's providing a beefy shield, so you don't have to worry about dodging out of Zibai's attack string. He also does defense shred if you're close to enemies. Zibai is a normal attacker, so sword user, so she's right up and close on those enemies, so she's doing damage that way, so you're getting the res. And then you do get sort of like the free, his pillar is going to help with the Lunar Crystallize sort of reactions, because the pulsing, so pulse, great, awesome, love that for Zhongli. If you have constellations on him, he is healing, so yes. In this tier, I also have plain Albedo for B tier. Lots of shards, off-field damage. He boosts EM if he ults by 125. Lunar reactions scale off with EM, so more EM in the party is not going to hurt anybody. So I think Albedo's like a very solid option if you have him. And then rounding out my B tier is C6 Ino. C6 Ino, you get a boost in lunar crystallized damage. Zibai is a lunar crystallized DPS. Lots of Hydra application in her ult. Her ER is really nice, pretty easy. And also, I did not mention this earlier, with Zibai, you either have to have Columbina, Eatlua, or Ino in your team. What you have to have one of those in your team because Zibai has to be an Ascendant Gleam. Zibai has to be an Ascendant Gleam. Those are the 3 units that are Hydra and Geo that can do that. Okay, only a couple spots for A tier. C6 Goru because it gives a 40% crit damage buff for Geo damage. Zibai is Geo, she's only doing Geo damage. So great buff for her. I also in this tier, Albedo is also in this tier, but only if he is with C4 Mona. Now, that's not as free to play, but if you've been playing since the beginning like I have, you probably have a few Monas. C1 is great, okay? You get lunar crystallized damage increased by 15% when affected by Omen. C4, crit rate increased by 15%. And then Albedo, this will affect Albedo. Albedo's buff, it just fixes Albedo's flower, so you don't have to worry about applying it. And also, he increases normal charge, plunging, skill, burst damage by 4% for every 1,000 of his defense, up to 12%. So you get a 12% damage bonus with Mona. And I would say run Mona if you have Mona C4. So that's your A tier. Her best support in-game already, of course, is going to be Columbina. Columbina at C0 increases lunar damage by 47% and also causes the 3 pin thingies, turrets, to shoot 33% to attack again, and Zibai is attacking all the time, and Lunar Crystallize works only based on how many the amount of Geo that is getting put on enemies. So she's applying a lot of Geo damage, so they're gonna be firing off pretty often. Her ult gives 40 at level 10, maximum 7%, so 47% of Lunar Crystallize damage buff. And then Eatlua, it's kind of crazy. So at C0, if Eatlua uses his E skill or he burst, active character gets a 5% crit rate increase and 10% crit damage increase for Geo damage. Zibai is Geo, Simpatico. Now, I already talked about sort of his big buff earlier in this video, and that's crazy. And he scales at EM, so the lunar calculation is just going to be higher with that. So he also has Ascendant Gleam. Like, Eatlua is by far her best sort of support. Do you need Eatlua? No. Do you need his C6? No. His C6 changes that 510 to 1030, which is great, but you don't need it. But if you have it, awesome. So now let's get into some teams, shall we? For this instance, Zibai is going to be played by Navia, and then Eatlua will be played by Yunchen. Okay, so for premium teams, Zibai, Eatlua, Columbina, and C6 Goru. Gonna be really solid across the board. 3 Geo, so you're getting a 45% Geo damage buff, and then 60 EM. Great, gonna be a great sort of solid team here. There's gonna be a lot of Crystallize, so you will get a shield, and then also Columbina at C0. Most people are running her on Prototype, so you will get some heals from that as well. Awesome. I think another great option, if you don't end up getting Eatlua and you don't have C6 Goru, I think another fun but great option, if for some reason you have this, team comp, you can go Albedo and Mona. Now that's like if I said if you have C4 Mona, which I have lost so many 50-50s, I do. I think this will be a very fun team. A lot of things are going to be happening, things are happening on screen. I think that I will be testing this out, but I do think this is a very sort of viable option for damage overall. Now, if you want to run Shalonen,
Whatever's going on here, stop it immediately.
I would say your team here is, if you want this to be Shalonen, this turns into Talon, Singcho, or Ino, C6 Ino. I don't have C6 Ino, but Ino's a great option here. You have Columbina. Now what if you don't have Columbina? What if you don't have Columbina and you're like more free to play, but you love Zibai? I would say I'm gonna bless your rolls and say you're gonna get Elua. And then I would do Ino. And then your last spot, if you need heals, do Barbara, because everyone has Barbara. And then if you have him, I do not, you either go Singcho or Dahlia. So this is Eatlua. So the team is Zibai, Eatlua, Ino, Dahlia, or Singcho. That's what I would say my free-to-play team would be. Could also, if you need heals, have this be Barbara, because everyone has Barbara. This isn't the strongest team, but it will still be fun to play. So yeah, those are my ideas of team comps for Zibai. If you're new here, welcome. If you've seen some of my videos, you do know that I'm not a min-maxer. We do not come here for min-maxing. We come here for fun, floppity times into that. I look at kits, I kind of understand what things are doing, and we test things, and we play, and we have fun. Because having fun is the point of video games. So, if you want to have fun, and have fun with me, don't make that dirty, like and subscribe. If you want to move on, I love that for you, and best wishes. Thanks for watching.